Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you see the screen also?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's start. Yesterday we discussed about the migration project, the conversion, one of the very important activity that we need to perform in the preparation phase, that is to convert the existing customers and vendors into the SAP business partners. So let me just give you the overview of whatever we have talked till now from the conversion point of view. Okay, so we discussed that in the conversion phase, basically it is divided into 5 different phases. One is the preparation, second is installation, third one is delta config, then data migration, and fifth one is activities after the migration. Right, so in the preparation phase, what you normally do, whatever activities we perform on ECC system. Okay, what are the activities we perform? We perform the preparation checks. What are the preparation checks? If you remember, we talked about running the maintenance planner to check which of the standard functionalities will be impacted, custom code analyzer to identify which custom codes will be impacted, pre-check reports to find out if there is any prerequisite that is not fulfilled till now, that is part of pre-check report. And finally, you use software update manager, but that does not come in the preparation phase. So this is something that you run on ECC system in order to know whether you are ready to migrate to SAP S4HANA or not. What will be the standard processes impacted and what will be the custom codes that will be impacted, or which custom codes need the adjustment before they can be used in SAP S4. Okay, once you do that, once you are sure, you told your customer that, okay, these are the functionalities which will be impacted, these are the functionalities you will be getting in advance to the existing functionalities, these are the custom codes which will be impacted, and let's say customer has agreed, let's go ahead and go further. So after doing all these activities, in the preparation itself, there are a lot of other checks which are part of pre-check actually. But what are these checks? So if I talk from the pre-checks point of view, there are a lot of checks from the finance point of view. Whether your financial data is getting reconciled or not. This is a very important check. Till the time your financial data is not reconciled. Reconciled means what? Your FI is getting reconciled with your CO or not. Your FI is getting reconciled with your asset accounting or not. Your FI is getting reconciled with your MM and SD or not. All these checks are performed in the pre-checks. Okay, and only when all these checks are positive, which means everything is getting reconciled with each other, then only you can move to SAP S4. If any of reconciliation is having the error, then first of all you need to solve that reconciliation. So let's say, for example, due to some reason your FI is not matching with SD or FI is not matching with CO, then definitely you need to rectify that before you go further. How to rectify? It depends upon the error. So SAP has already provided the SAP notes. Let's say, for example, if FI and CO are not matching, so what should be done? What is the kind of reconciliation issue? SAP has already provided the note that are applicable today also. It has nothing to do with SAP S4HANA. Today also at the month end, if you realize that my FI is not matching with SD, Okay, and you need to identify what is the problem. So already SAP has provided lot of programs, they have provided lot of uh, correction steps that you need to perform before you proceed to the next month. So same thing, before you plan to go for SAP S4HANA, before you ask your technical consultant to upgrade to SAP S4HANA system, you need to make sure that everything from the financial point of view, from the integration between SD, MM, everything is reconciled, because you don't want to take the garbage, whatever is available in ECC, to SAP S4. So this is the right time to make sure that whatever reconciliation issues were happening in ECC, solve that, and then only proceed to SAP S4. So this pre-check
So that is
report will
nothing but
also check.
yeah, the
Sorry.
financial data reconciliation is nothing but a month-end process, right? It's similar to month-end process, or do they need to do any further checks than a month-end process?
Yes, see, when you say month-end process, so for example, in the month-end processing, I got a problem where FI and CO are not matching. Okay, and in the companies, this is a normal behavior. So whenever we go for any implementations, I think you also agree to that. So in the month end, if we find that, okay, this is something which is not reconciling with each other, and if we check the businesses will say, yes, 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 we know this is happening from years, right? They are aware that there is some reconciliation problem, but still, because they are still not able to solve it, they are keeping on going. Like they don't want to solve also now because they are used to it.
Yeah,
But now what will happen is, if they continue the same behavior, they will not be able to move on to SAP S4. They need to solve that error there itself. They need to involve their auditors also. From financial point of view, it is very straightforward. If you want to move to simple finance, because see, whenever you are moving to SAP S4, you cannot only move to logistics. It has finance as well as logistics. So from simple finance point of view, there are a lot of checks which will be performed in the background, and you need to make sure that all your data is reconciled to each other, without which you cannot move. So even if there is a problem, the reconciliation issues which is appearing from years, you need to take a decision, you need to there itself solve it, and then only you can proceed to SAP S4, right? So that is the reason you need to involve your
so that
auditors
means
if you want.
yeah,
Yeah.
that means even the business is okay, don't care about reconciliation, some issue, and we S4 HANA there could be a problem. That's the reason we need to fix that, whether business likes it or not, or the auditor like
Yes,
it or not.
yes, I'll tell you the reason why. Because
Okay.
today,
Yeah.
why we are moving to SAP S4? Let me give you some basic overview of simple finance, because ultimately, whatever business is doing, they are mainly for finance, right? What transactions you are doing in MM, whatever transactions you are doing in SD, ultimately it is all money, right? It is coming to the financial reports. So what is happening as of today is, in ECC, I have a FI component and I have a CO component. My FI tables are different, my CO tables are different. Okay, so in FI, I have main tables like BK, PF, and BSEC, and from controlling, I have CO, BK, COSS. There are a lot of tables from controlling. So what happens is, even if there is a reconciliation issues, that is fine, because the tables are independent of each other. Maybe they are not matching. We know what is the problem, but let's continue. But now, when you are moving to SAP S4, all this independence is gone. It is all one. If it is FI, if it is CO, if it is asset accounting, everything is going to be in one single table, that is AC document. So now how the system will handle that? If FI and CO is not matching, how it will consolidate one line? That is the problem. So that is the reason it will not allow you to proceed further. Till the time you are not solving all your reconciliation issues, it will not allow you to proceed further.
Okay,
Okay.
so that means S4 HANA is, I mean, Simple Finance is imposing this reconciliation issues. They can't, I mean,
Yes.
even the client likes it or not, it needs to be fixed in order to have S4 HANA. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So these are the checks from the financial point of view. Again, if I proceed further, there are a lot of things, a lot of checks which needs to be done from finance. So let me take 5 minutes, so that it is very important, because even though if you are from logistics point of view, but there are still some things which you need to be very careful. I think some of you must be already aware of the finance concepts also, but let me take this 5 minutes and tell you what are the important things that you need to do in the preparation from the finance point of view, and then I'll come to the logistics. So one is reconciliation, which is very important. Other is, as you said, the period end activities, whatever you do in the period end. This migration must be done at the period end. Okay, you cannot do system conversion in the mid of the month. So let's say, for example, you are on the 15th of a month and you want to upgrade SAP S4HANA with all the data. No, the migration can be done only during the month end. Okay, from the financial point of view, and since financial is part of SAP S4HANA, you can perform the SAP S4HANA migration only during the month end. Any month end. It is not necessary that it must be the end of the year. It is not like you need to do only the migration during the fiscal year end. That is not the requirement. It is only month end. Any month end. If it is first month, second month, doesn't matter. It needs to be done on the month end. And before you perform this conversion, you need to perform all the period end activities. Whatever activities you do, you close the period, you open the next period, you perform some reports, you do the reconciliation, you perform some, you send some data from ECC to BW, whatever you are doing in the month end, all that must be done before you start this conversion. Not only you perform that period end activities, after everything is done, keep a copy with yourself. So for example, let's say customer receivables, FBL5N, FBL1N from vendor point of view. Then, or maybe the customer balances, instead of line-wise information, customer balances, vendor balances, balance sheet, profit and loss. You generate all these reports in current ECC system and take a backup of that. Why? Because once the system will be converted, you will again run that reports in SAP S4HANA to cross-verify whether everything from the financial point of view has been migrated properly or not. It should not happen that due to some migration issue, the customer has a balance of 1,000, it was the balance of 1,000 USD earlier, now it is showing you 10,000. That is a big problem then, right? So you need to be very careful with the financial data. You need to have dump of all and whatever reports you perform during the month end, keep a separate copy in your PC. In your PC means, again, it has to be like you need to download that information and keep at various places so that you can compare it after the migration. This activity will be normally done by the business. As a consultant, you are not going to perform all these reportings. It is always a good idea if you do also, but you need to tell the business because they are more aware of the kind of reports that they are running and they will be able to confirm whether everything is correct or not. So even if you confirm that yes, APAR, everything is matching after migration, but till the time the business is not confirming, it cannot be said as a completed activity. Right, so you need to push the business that please run all your reports, whatever you do at month end. SAP from finance point of view, they have provided a list of reports also, which must be executed before you start the conversion process and kept somewhere safe so that they can be used for the comparison purpose after the migration. Okay, so this is also something which is a part of preparation activity because you need to do this before you install. So this is something which you are doing in ECC itself. Okay, this is from the financial point of view. Now from logistics point of view, when you run this custom code analyzer tool, when you run this maintenance planner tool, your technical people will do all these activities, like they will run the maintenance planner in client 000 custom code analyzer, and they will provide you the list of functionalities which are going to be impacted. So as I told you, you need to have the discussions with the business that okay, these are the functionalities which will not be supported. You already know some of the functionalities, like revenue recognition is not supported, foreign trade management is not supported, credit management, the way in which you were working earlier is not supported. So all these decisions must be in place. So you need to tell the business, get a confirmation from them, yes, they know that this functionality will not be supported and this is how this particular functionality will be handled in SAP S4. So for example, you were using the revenue recognition functionality which is not supported. The maintenance planner has provided that report that this functionality will not be supported. So you'll write this in the whatever document you are going to create. So whether it is a business blueprint document, design document, whatever name you call it as. So that document must clearly specify that these are the functionalities which are available in ECC. They are not supported. So just as I tell you the example, revenue recognition was a functionality which was available, which is no more supported. So we agree that we will go for revenue accounting and reporting in this case. Foreign trade management was a functionality which is not supported. we agreed that we'll go for the GTS implementation separately. So all these things must be in place during the preparation itself. It should not be the surprise to the customer that after the installation they realize, oh, foreign trade management I was able to use in ECC, it is not anymore in SAP S4HANA. So all these things must be noted down in the preparation step itself, phase itself, so that everybody is on the same page.
Gaurav, can you show us how to run these tools?
Sarina, there is a lot of background noise.
Okay, I'll chat.
Yeah.
Gaurav, in the meantime, the pre-check report, is there a tool for pre-checking the reports, or it's one by one run the report like a VA05 and 45 and like that, or is there a tool?
No. There is only one transaction code. If you remember, we discussed during the PPT that there is a report. Before running that report, you need to implement the SAP note, which will allow you to run that report in your existing ECC system. Right?
Or
When you run
tell,
this pre-check, yes, one pre-check report. There is no separate report for each and every transaction. One single report, which will tell you whether you are ready to migrate or not.
Okay. That is a maintenance planner, right? Or just for the reports, pre-check report. For report checking also there is a tool, is it? I mean, there is a program,
Yes.
or else it's not. Okay.
Yes. There are three different reports. One for maintenance planner, which will check the standard configuration. Whatever standard functionalities are impacted.
Yes.
Custom code analyzer will check, are there any custom codes which are going to be impacted? And
Including
pre-check report will check.
the custom code analyzer will include the customization on the reports as well, right? In case we modify the standard reports, custom code analyzer will bring. Okay.
Yes. Anything that you made like you changed which is not matching with the standard system will be part of custom code.
Okay.
And pre-check report will tell you whether you are ready to migrate or not. So for example, although maintenance planner you checked, custom code analyzer you checked, but you have not converted your customers and vendors into business partner, which is one of the very important activity which must be done in preparation. So if you have not done that activity, it will stop you. This is one point. Another point, as I told you, if your financial data itself is not matching, it is not reconciled, again this pre-check report will stop you. It will not allow you to go further. It will directly say you don't go with the installation before you solve this errors, whatever you are getting in your ECC itself.
Okay, I missed the pre-check report.
Yes. Okay.
And what
Shamila
will be
is
the...
asking. Yeah, sorry, Vijay, go ahead.
Go ahead, yeah.
Vijay, go ahead.
Typically, what is the cutover timeline for a conversion project? Because we are using the same production system, and cutover and validating the financial reporting, once again, everything will be in the same live system. In case of a separate installation, you have one production system running and you'll be preparing the other system until you go live, right? I mean, in case of a conversion, same system you'll be using, what will be the cutover timeline in case of conversion?
See, it all depends upon the volume of data. So for example, whatever preparation activities you are doing, you don't need the shutdown for that, right? Preparation activities you can do in parallel. You are running the system and you are doing the preparation. That is completely fine.
Right.
You need shutdown only during the data migration.
Yeah, data migration and also doing the financial reconciliation, right? Do the month-end process or whatever.
No, month-end processing will be done in the normal ECC system itself, whatever you are already using. For that,
this is the same now. ECC system we are just converting, right? The moment you install S4HANA on top of ECC, that becomes a S4HANA system.
Exactly. Yes.
So in which case we are working on the same production environment, or we need to have another production environment.
No. You are right. It is the same production environment. Same system is ECC. You are upgrading it to SAP S4HANA, to the same system.
Exactly. That means in order to perform data migration and do financial reconciliation checks once again in S4HANA, do we do some production labs, like we miss 2-3 days a week or something, doing transactions production system in case of conversion?
Okay, let me answer this. So you said 2 points, data migration and financial reconciliation. Financial reconciliation you are doing in the preparation itself. There is no need of doing the financial reconciliation again here. After you will do only the financial reconciliation after you completed the migration. Okay, so that you are doing in ECC itself, so there is no need of any shutdown
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
financial reconciliation.
Yeah.
Now coming to installation. Installation is again when you are upgrading your system. So definitely it requires the downtime. Okay, when you
Right.
are using the same system to upgrade, you need the downtime. Delta configuration, you are not going to do the configuration directly on your production system. So this activity
That's
can
right.
be done in parallel in development system, right?
Right. Yeah.
So once you install, you will automatically, once you install, you can immediately start moving your transports to the Delta config. So this will not take much time.
That's
Moving the
yes.
transport will
Yes.
not take much time.
Yeah.
Data migration, again, yes, definitely, because you are performing the migration from same system, like from one set of
Yes.
tables to different set of tables. Again,
Yeah.
this will require the downtime. So actually speaking, this is one day, like installation will take at least 8-9 hours. So let's say one day of activity will be required to perform the installation. One day
Okay.
shutdown will be required. Regarding the data migration, this all depends upon the volume of data. So if you are
Right.
moving the data from last 1 year, it will be too less time. It can be done within 3-4 hours also. If you are migrating the data from last 10-12 years, again, it depends upon how much data is available per year. So it depends upon all that factors.
Okay, after data migration, we need to do one more reconciliation, right? Suppose we did
Yes.
the month-end process for May in ACC, say, keep the reports as in order to validate. And once you do the data migration, you run the same month-end process, I mean reporting, and in order to counter check whether my ECC reporting and after installation and migration is the same or not. In order to do that, we need to do one more time after data migration, right?
No, you don't need to do the period end processing. You just need to run the reports, and there are around 10 to 12 reports. That will not take much time. You just need to
Okay.
execute that reports, take the data, and the reconciliation you are doing out of the system, right? You are comparing the Excel files, for example, to make sure
Yeah,
that
yeah.
my old data is matching with the new data or not. So that is not going to take much of time.
Okay. So typically 2-3 days is the downtime for a production system in case of a
Yes,
commercial
yes, yes,
projects.
definitely. And it will be suggested
Okay.
to do this in the weekends where the business will be impacted at least.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Sharmila was asking regarding the custom code analyzer. Can you just elaborate like what exactly, we already discussed custom code analyzer. I think you were not available on that session or what? Okay, you were not available. I'll just give you the overview what we discussed, and I'll suggest you to go through that particular session once. And again, if you have any doubts, we can discuss. But custom code analyzer is a tool which will help you in identifying what will be the impact on your custom objects. So for example, if you are in ECC today and you are working in ECC from, let's say, last 10 years. Over this 10 years, you have a lot of custom objects that you have created. Now you want to check whether all my custom objects will be available in SAP S4 or there will be some impact on that. So for that, what you need to do is, you will not do anything. You will be getting the report from the technical person. This technical person, he will implement one SAP note. I'm putting it simple, although simplification database, there are some different terms, but putting it simple, there will be one, like a SAP note will be implemented, which will give the information that what is available new in 1610. And after that upload, there is a program which your technical consultant will perform, which will give him the list of reports which will be impacted. So for example, if there are 100 custom objects available in your current ECC system, out of that 100 objects, how many objects are going to be suffered? If they are suffered, that is not sufficient, right? You need why they are suffered. So it will also provide you the information. It will say this particular functionality is not supported, due to which you need to make this changes in this custom object. For more information, refer to this SAP note. So for each and every error, it will refer to the particular SAP note. If you go to that SAP note, it will tell you the exact thing, like what was wrong and how you can rectify that. Okay, now let's say, as I told you, out of 100 objects, your technical persons identified in the report that 20 objects are impacted. Now it is not necessary that you will be rectifying all these 20 objects, because this custom code analyzer will also tell you out of these 20 objects, how many objects are really used. So it will tell you when the last time was the object used and what is the frequency. So let's say, for example, out of 20, 12 objects are not used from last 3 years. Then definitely you can go to the business and tell them, okay, these are the custom objects which are not used for 3 years. Do you want to perform this adjustment, or will keep it as it is and you are not going to use in future? So they will say, okay, let's go with this 8 updations. So that updations, you need to make sure that they are performed in whatever stage. So you are identifying here in the preparation phase. But when exactly are you going to perform that adjustments, that you need to take a decision. So if the adjustments are very important, without which you cannot go further, okay, you may need to do in parallel itself. Whenever the installation is taking place, preparation is taking place, you can start the adjustments here itself. If the adjustments are like that, they are only used for the reporting purpose, it is okay if they are done after the migration, then you can complete this activity first, and then parallelly you run the project where you are adjusting the custom objects which are identified. Okay, so this is something which the custom code analyzer will help you. Otherwise, it is not very easy for you to identify which custom objects will be impacted. Yes, Simla, in the PPT, you will find the complete information. Just go through it, and which SAP note, which simplification database I'm talking about, that we discussed in detail. So just go through that. If you have any questions, we can discuss on that again. Okay, so there are different kind of checks. As we said, financial data checked from the logistics point of view, whether the customers and vendors are migrated or not. So only after these checks are performed, you will be running this pre-check report, or you will asking your technical consultant to run this pre-check report, and this is positive. If this is saying yes, you are ready to migrate to SAP S4HANA now, because all the preparation activities which are required are completely done, then you can proceed towards the installation. Now what you will do in the installation, we discussed about one tool called as Software Update Manager. So this Software Update Manager will be used to convert, to perform the upgrade, to perform the technical upgrade. So till now your system was ECC system. Till here your system was ECC system. Once you handed over this system to your technical person to perform the upgrade, once he performed the upgrade, the system will become SAP S4HANA system. Okay. So after the installation, you will be getting the system which is already converted into SAP S4HANA. Now system is already available as SAP S4HANA. What about the data? There were a lot of configurations available in the ECC system. There were a lot of transactions posted in ECC system, master data, your reports. What will happen to that? So they will be available as it is. So for example, let's talk about the configuration. Whatever company code were available in ECC, they will become available in SAP S4. Whatever purchasing org, sales org, whatever enterprise elements are available, they will become part of SAP S4HANA. The configurations which are available, for example, NACE will be available as it is. But as we know that although NACE is available as it is, but it is not sufficient, because by default in SAP S4HANA, new output determination is active. So although the old configuration is available as it is, you may need to perform some adjustments. That is something that you will be doing in the delta config. So delta config is what? Only the config which is changed. You don't need to perform all the configuration from scratch. All the configuration is already available. You only need to perform the configuration wherever there is a change. Now, some of the delta configurations has to be done manually. So one of the example, output determination. New output determination via OPD, you have to perform manually. There is no cockpit available for that. So you need to go to transaction OPD to perform that output determination. If you don't want to use it, you need to go to that indicator where you'll be saying, okay, I want to use NACE. I don't want to use new output determination, for example. So some of the configuration, yes.
Suppose the moment you install S4HANA 1610 on top of ECC, and prior to installation, your MARD table is having aggregate data also. And what will happen when you install S4HANA on top of ECC? So that aggregate tables like unrestricted quantity will be available, or it will be wiped out, and what is going to happen when you install?
I'm coming to it. That is the
Okay.
next thing that I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me answer this. Yeah, as you said, see what will happen in the installation, whatever table level changes are required, definitely that will be done as soon as the installation is done. Okay, so MARD or maybe whatever tables, MATDOC will be immediately available, right? They will be immediately available after the installation. But for example, MATDOC is available as soon as you implemented or installed SAP S4HANA, MATDOC is available or ACDOC is available. But that doesn't mean it will contain the full data because you need to perform the data migration. Data was still available in the older tables, right?
Exactly.
So that is something which will be done here in the data migration. So although the
So that
table
means,
level structure will be changed, but the
okay,
movement of data from the old tables, to the new tables will be happening here in the data migration.
okay. So MATDOC will have the field which is aggregation fields, but data will not be there until you run the report, right? I mean, go to the table and display it.
Yes.
It'll bring it through HANA database, do the math, whatever it is on the background. It'll be available, right?
Yes. I'll show you. There is a particular sequence for that. I'll show you that.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Okay, so what I wanted to highlight here is that once you run this software update manager, it will copy all whatever configuration, whatever master data, transaction data was available, but only problem is it will be available in the older tables. So you need to migrate that data from older tables to new tables, right? So for that, you will be using this delta config in order to perform the delta configuration. Some of the delta configuration has to be done manually. Some of the data configuration will be supported by the automatic cockpits. I'll show you where exactly to use that. Then you need to perform the data migration for your master data and transactional data. So for example, in ECC, I had different kind of master data. Let's take a simple example. Customer vendor, we already understood that they have been changed into the business partner, and we already done that activity in the preparation phase. What about the material master? We had the material master in ECC. Have we performed anything in the preparation phase to migrate? No, it is available in the same Mara table, right? So as soon as you perform the migration, as soon as you perform the installation, that master data is already available. You don't need to perform any additional activity to migrate the material master data because it is already available in the same table and it will belong to that table. What about the work centers from the PP point of view? Again, same thing, because there is no change in work center, they will be available as it is. You don't need to perform anything else. Whatever work centers are available in ECC, they will be available here also. What about the transactions? So whatever data was available in MKPF, MSIG, that is still available in MKPF and MSIG, but now we also need to update them into MATDOC, right? Let's say, for example, credit management. So credit management data was available till now in SDER credit management. So when you perform the installation, although the data is still available in the old tables, but the old tables are not supported anymore. You need to migrate that data into the new tables. So that is something which will happening in the data migration phase. Okay, so in data migration, your master data and your transactional data will be migrated. In data configuration, your manual configuration which is required and automatic configuration which is required will become the part of delta configuration. And finally, there are some small list of activities that you need to perform after the migration. Let me show you all these things in a particular sequence in the system now. Yeah, we are already in the system, so I'll just open this migration cockpit. So as I told you, preparation is something which you do in ECC. It has nothing to do with SAP S4HANA system. You'll not be able to see any screen related to preparation activity in SAP S4 because you are doing this before installation. Installation is something which has nothing to do with the system again. You are converting the system. So you will be getting the SAP S4HANA system only starting from this point.
Gaurav,
Right? Delta config. Yes.
do we have a timeline like, before this much time we need to start preparation phase or any rough timeline?
See, SAP, if you go through the SAP Activate methodology, they have provided some default templates for the project management templates. I think we discussed that, right? The templates which are provided in the SAP Activate. But that is something which again it depends. As I told you, some of the companies, they are very we can say they are very reluctant and they want sufficient time to perform the preparation. On the other hand, some of the companies are very keen to implement SAP S4. They want to give minimum time in the preparation. So it all depends upon various different factors. There is no fixed timing that you need to give to the preparation.
Okay. Like, can the client use outside data migration tools, or they have to go for SAP provided data migration tools?
Not required actually, because as I told you, you are not migrating the data between the systems. You are migrating the data within the system. Okay, it is not like ECC system is different and SAP S4HANA system is different and you are moving the data from ECC to S4. It is the same system which is upgraded to SAP S4. So data is available within the same database, right?
You can
So
do it.
external tools normally are not required. Yes, yes, yes. SAP has provided the tools directly which can be used.
Gaurav, usually the data migration is responsible as the functional guy. Until extraction and cleaning the data, only loading part will be done by the technical people, like ABAPers who write the conversion programs or whatever it is, LSMW and all that. So in this case, it is not a functional data migration. It's only from one table to another table we are migrating. For example, MARD to MAT data, MAT doc, kind of a migration that's purely done by technical team, or how is that? Who lead the migration effort?
See, the migration is normally led by the financial consultant. I will tell you why. So I think let's go further. You'll get all these answers. When you understand this cockpit, all these answers, all these questions will be automatically answered. Okay,
Sure.
so if I go here, as you know that in the, oh sorry, this is the ECC system. Let me log off from here. Yeah, so this is my ECC, sorry, this is my SAP S4HANA system. So as soon as it is converted to SAP S4, you will be able to see this folder, migration to SAP S4HANA Finance. Now, it is saying migration to SAP S4HANA Finance. There is no similar kind of folder available for logistics. The reason is simple, because most of the activities which are relevant to migration, they are from finance. From logistics point of view, there are only two activities. One is material ledger migration. Second is credit management migration. Now, if you see these two activities also, they are more to do with finance than the logistics, right? Although there is a tight integration, definitely it is very much integrated to MM, very much integrated to SD, and normally it is also handled by MM and SD, but still they have a lot of things to do with finance, right? And that is the reason there is no separate cockpit available for material ledger and credit management that is available as a part of the same cockpit. So if you see this migration cockpit, you'll find the activities related to material ledger and credit management available in the same folder of finance. Okay, that is the reason normally the migration, the technical migration or the functional migration, whatever name you call it as, that is the responsibility of the finance consultant to do it. I'll tell you why. Why as a SD consultant I cannot go and do the credit migration? Although I can do, that is not a problem, but the responsibility lies with finance, because you cannot, let's say the implementation is done and you are a SD consultant, you know that, okay, my responsibility is to go and do the credit management migration. So I cannot directly go here in migration cockpit and start doing this activity. Why? Because in the cockpit, you need to follow the sequence. Okay, so it is not something you can do parallelly. Okay, so financial consultant is doing this, let me go here and do this activity. No. SAP strongly recommends that follow a particular sequence. Don't jump onto this activity before you complete this activity. Don't jump onto this activity before you complete this activity. Okay, so there is a dependency on each and everything here. That is the reason till the financial consultant is not completing this general ledger, asset accounting, controlling, material ledger, house bank, you should not go to credit management. Okay. Some of the places may not be relevant. Like for example, credit management is independent of all these things, but still it is recommended to follow the particular order. Okay, so that is the reason normally this is not something which technical consultant will do. All these cockpits, they are the responsibility of the functional consultant, because if everything goes well, then anybody can do, because these are the direct programs. Even if you ask a fresher to execute this transaction, these are just the programs. They will be executed and they will tell you whether the result was positive or negative. So if everything is positive, perfectly fine. Normally it is everything positive. Normally SAP has provided a cockpit where most of the things will work in the proper way. But still, if error comes, who will be responsible? Technical person doesn't know what the error is all about. That is the reason this is normally the responsibility of the financial consultant to perform this complete cockpit. Okay. Now, as I told you, if I go back here, installation will be done by the technical person, and then for these three activities, we will be using this cockpit. So if you remember yesterday also, I think we discussed this, that here in financial cockpit or in the migration cockpit, it is divided into three parts. Preparation and migration of customizing, this is delta configuration, data migration, and activities after migration. So these three phases: delta configuration, data migration, and activities after migration. So as I told you, in delta configuration, some of the activities can be performed using automatic cockpit, while some of the activities, while other activities need to be done manually. Very best example, as I told you, if you want to perform the, are you able to hear me? Yes, sorry. Yeah, so as I told you, the very best example is output determination. So output determination you cannot do via this particular delta configuration. Here you will not find the option of setting up the new output determination. So that has to be done via the normal case, cross application components and whatever we have seen in case of the new implementation. Okay, but some of the activities like the delta configuration relevant to material ledger, the delta configuration related to credit management, that can be done directly using this cockpit. You don't need to perform anything manually here. Okay, so this is delta config, this is data migration, and finally this is the after migration activities. Now let's try to understand all these things one by one. Okay, I will go a little bit further into finance also, because as I told you, everything is based on the particular sequence. So till the time you are not doing the first thing, you cannot go to the second thing. Okay, so before going into these three activities, SAP has provided a documentation which is saying this is the information when you are migrating path to SAP S4HANA Finance. So what this is saying, if you are using financials as a part of one of the following product versions and you want to convert to SAP S4HANA, you have to perform the data migration activities which are provided below. Whatever activities are specified, these are from the finance point of view. Okay, so irrespective of whether you are using SAP ERP or you are already using SAP Simple Finance, any version 1.0, 1503 and 1605, anyways, you need to perform these activities in order to perform the migration. Okay, now let's start off with one by one. Preparation and migration of customizing. So before you start these activities, you can see check customizing settings prior to migration. So this is like a pre-check, although this is not a same pre-check that the technical consultant will run, but this will give you whether your companies are ready to go ahead for migration or not. See, it is showing one of the warning that there is some body which is stopping to go ahead. Okay, so check is passed with warning. You can go ahead, but this is something which you can check whether this is relevant or not relevant. Why this error is coming, that you need to find out. It is always good if you are getting the green signal here rather than the warning. Although warning, as you know, it is not going to impact your conversion, but definitely in your production process, this should be green. Then only you can consider, yes, everything is fine, I can proceed. Okay, I don't know what is wrong with this body, but if you are getting this error in your actual environment, you need to check what is wrong. You need to involve your technical consultant to find out why this message is coming. Okay, and you need to solve this error first before you proceed. Warnings you can ignore, but if it is error, definitely you cannot go further. System will not allow you to go further. Then the message types. Again, this is more relevant to finance. So let's say, for example, your technical consultant has upgraded your ECC system to SAP S4. Okay, and immediately your financial processor has created a document. Okay, without doing the further activities. Like you have still not performed the data migration, you have still not done the delta configuration, and some of your user is trying to process a financial document. Is it something which should be allowed? It should not be allowed, right? One option is to lock all the users. That is anyways we are going to do. Okay, you are going to lock all your users whenever you are performing these activities. Another important check is if you are locking it for the particular users, there are still some users who are unlocked, and let's say if by mistake he is trying to post a document, definitely system should give a error. What error you can configure here? So this is a normal error. Okay, this is FINS, this is related to finance as I told you. So new entry, I'll just show you what is the error normally you provide. This one, 150. What is this error? Data migration is not yet finished. We are still in the data migration phase. Updating of document is not possible. So whenever a user will try to post any document in financials, we'll get this error. By default, if nothing is maintained here, it will definitely result in error. But for example, if you are in the test system, you are trying something, your data migration is in place, and as a financial consultant, you want to try something, you can keep it as a warning message. That is the reason this option is provided. By default, it will always result in error till the time migration is not completed. Now the question is how the system will know whether the migration is completed or not. Okay, when exactly the system will throw error? So once you complete all these activities, okay, there is a last tick in the data migration which says complete migration. So in this particular thing, you will set migration to completed. So once this migration is completed, then that error message will not come. Okay, but this activity you will perform after all the activities are completed. So let's go one by one. Okay, so now line by line, you have the activities for general ledger. So whatever configurations, delta configurations are required from general ledger point of view, you are doing this line by line. Again, your financial person will do this in the particular sequence, one by one. First, he will check this, like this. He will complete all the activities and then only he will proceed to the next activity. Then he will enter into the asset accounting. Again, he will perform whatever delta configurations are required from asset accounting point of view. Then he will proceed towards the controlling, whatever controlling activities are required. Then only he can enter into the materials ledger. There is only one program, migrate material ledger customizing. This single program will make sure that if you were already using material ledger in ECC, whatever settings are maintained in the material ledger, they will be available in the new system. Okay. If you were not using material ledger functionality, then too, from the technical point of view, this will automatically go and make that tick. Okay. So you don't need to perform any material ledger configuration manually. You only need to perform the material ledger configuration manually if you really want to use the functionalities which are not active in ECC. Whatever functionalities were active in ECC, if you want to use as it is, the single program will copy all the settings. If you only want to use from the technical point of view, then also the single program will help you in activating that. Okay, let's go for the documentation of this. What it is saying is, see, this is very important to understand. Migrate material ledger customizing. So the material ledger is required if you are using SAP S4HANA materials management. We already know material ledger is mandatory in SAP S4HANA. You need to perform this activity irrespective of whether you are already using material ledger or not. It should not happen that, okay, I should skip this activity because I am already using material ledger. No. You need to run this program irrespective of whether you are using material ledger in ECC or not. Okay, so you need to migrate the material ledger even if you are already using SAP S4HANA Finance. Or you also need to migrate the material ledger even if you are already using material ledger in your source system. Okay, what are the requirements? So as I told you, before you run this activity, these are the prerequisites. So you must have completed the general ledger customizing, you must have completed the asset accounting, you must have completed the controlling. That is the reason I told you that you cannot skip all these other things and come directly to the logistics points. You have to follow this particular sequence. You will not be able to perform this material ledger migration till the time all these things are not completed. Okay, so using this, the customizings whatever are maintained in ECC for material ledger will be copied into SAP S4HANA system. Then once you complete the material ledger, this cockpit, this is important. What you need to do, let me just execute this. Nothing, you just need to perform this execution in the test mode. If you are getting any error, you need to solve that error. Once it is done, you need to come here and click on execute. I am not sure whether I'll be able to execute here because I need to follow the particular sequence, but let me just try. If I go for this test mode, it may take time. Yeah, see, it is giving me the all the green signals. So that is a good signal that everything is fine. I can proceed. Okay, so what it is saying, let me show you at least one
So
scenario.
where it will show that you have performed the previous steps. Do we have an indication that it will say somewhere that, or it will be read here?
No, see, earlier steps, if you see, they are the configurations. Okay, so for example, if I go for general ledger, if you remember when we were trying to create the first document in materials management, it was throwing the error that CO version is not assigned to the ledger, right? So similar kind of errors you will get here. If these configurations are not performed here, when you run this, it will throw the error here itself that this activity is missing, because of which this cannot be performed.
Okay.
Okay, now let me explain you what is this. Okay, so let's go for anyone. Let's talk about S-log, for example. So what it is saying is material ledger flag is active, price determination indicator is 2, material ledger type is 9000, and material update structure is 001 will be set for valuation area S-log automatically. See, by default it is saying, even if this S-log is not active for material ledger, by default system will do this if you execute this program. It will set the material ledger as active, price determination indicator 2, material ledger type 9000, and material update structure as 0001 by default. We are not specified this anywhere, right? This is something which will happen automatically in the background. Now, this is only for the valuation areas where material ledger was not active till now. For example, I have a plant SL10 which was already available in ECC and material ledger was already active. So in that case, it will not take the default information. For example, in ECC, if definitely material ledger was flagged on, let's say price determination indicator was 3 or the material ledger type was something starting with Z. So this will not take the default in that case. In that case, it will definitely go and see whatever was available, that will be available in new system also. So this will be only, the default values will be taken only in case of if the material ledger was not active in ECC. Okay, so irrespective of whether the material ledger is active in your system or not, you need to perform this configuration mandatorily. So for the plants where material ledger is already active, they will be copied as it is. For the plants where material ledger was not active, this will make sure that the default values are set and material ledger is active from the technical point of view. And as I told you, if you really want to use the functionalities of actual costing, parallel currencies, which are supported in material ledger, then this is not sufficient. This is only from technical point of view. If you want to use all that functionalities, then definitely you need to involve your controlling consultant to perform that configurations in the way as they were done in ECC. Clear on this? Okay, so this is how you will be performing the material ledger customizing delta configuration. Coming to house bank, again, this is something which is related to finance. I'm closing this, and finally, you can enter into the credit management customizing. Now, in the credit management customizing, since we know that earlier we were using the normal SD AR credit management, now we are using FSCM credit management. So most of the things that you are able to see here, okay, migrate credit management customizing, define credit analyst group, there are a lot of configurations as you can see. Except this first thing, migrate credit management customizing, all these things are optional. These are only required if you are using the advanced features of credit management. If you only want to copy the customizing settings which were maintained in FI AR credit management into FSCM credit management, like for example, whatever credit control areas were available, whatever OVA 8 settings were available, whatever the configurations available for different order types, whether the static is active, dynamic is active, whatever you configured in ECC in SDAR credit management using this single program, migrate credit management customizing, it will automatically copy all the data which is available in SDR credit management to FSCM credit management. And all these things are only required if you want to use additional functionalities which are available in SAP S4. So normally we just perform this activity. Yeah.
Gaurav, suppose ECC, they're already using FSCM credit management, and then when you try to do migrate credit management, nothing to be copied, right? It's already FSCM credit management, right?
Yes, yes. Even in that case also you need to run this program. Okay.
Okay.
When you run this program, it will tell you that this is already active. So if you even go to the documentation, it is saying the same thing.
Okay.
So what question you ask, you will get the answer here. See, in this activity, you migrate the new configuration of credit management. When you execute this activity, the system also checks whether the migration of credit management setting is necessary. So just to answer your question. So if FSCM is already active, there is no necessity of doing this, but still you will run this program and it will tell you whether it is performing in the background or it is already active. Okay, so we'll skip this because these are not the mandatory activities, and normally in the project also, normally we don't do this. And if this is required, then definitely you need to involve your FSCM consultant to perform these configurations. But if you are only looking from SD point of view, whatever I was getting till now, I want to make sure that all the settings are available in future also. This is more than sufficient. This single program will help you performing all the configurations, whatever are available in ECC into SAP S4 in the normal SDAR to FSCM component.
Gaurav, if I have any customization programs for relevant to FIR credit management, those will not work, right?
Again, that you will get the message in custom code analyzer. That is the reason you use that tool, right?
Okay.
So let's say, for example, if you are written some custom code which is trying to manipulate the settings which are the standard settings in credit management. So when you use the custom code analyzer, even before you come here in ECC itself, it will tell you that for credit management, you have written this code, but this code will not be relevant because the normal SDAR credit management is not used in FSCM. So you need to take a decision there itself whether this code is important even in FSCM. If yes, you need to have a plan. How are you going to write this code under the FSCM?
So then we need to involve FSCM guy because these are all earlier SD tables, right? Like license tables. If we are doing some customizing, so how can we map? How do we know which table? Uh, Earlier it's VBEX, right? What is the equivalent table in FSCM? Will it remain the same or?
No, see, it depends. Like for example, earlier the tables were different. Let's say for example, from the SD point of view, I think the SD point of view tables will remain same, irrespective of whether you are using the FSCM component or the normal credit management, because earlier tables of credit management, they were not using the tables which are directly relevant to sales and distribution. There were the separate credit management tables, right? So from sales point of view, which table you are talking about, let's take that.
Sorry, I was confused with foreign trade actually. Yeah. So,
Okay, that is different thing. That is different thing for sure.
Gaurav?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, actually, can you explain when we are talking about preparation and migration of customizing for general ledger? So when have we performed the customization? I mean, is it when we have implemented SAP that customizing, or which customizing we are talking about?
Are you talking about this?
Yes. I mean, anyone. I mean, if you are
This
talking
is
about
this is the delta configuration which we are talking about. So see, general ledger you were already using in ECC, right? In ECC you were already using the general ledger functionality, right? Now in SAP S4 there are some changes. So that changes are available in this cockpit. These are not the normal things that you were using in ECC. These are the new things which are available in SAP Simple Finance. So that is the reason they are available in this cockpit to provide you the one particular folder where you can perform all the delta configurations for general ledger.
Okay. So I was thinking that it is a movement of TR. So there is not a movement of TRs, but fresh customizing so that general ledger is in place in S4, right?
Yes, the phrase settings which will make sure that the new functionalities in general ledgers are active in S4.
Okay. So these are not transport. I mean migration of transport TRs. It is fresh customizing so that general ledger will work in S4 HANA properly, right? Is it?
Yes. Let me confirm this one thing. See, whatever activities you are doing in this preparation and migration of customizing, these activities you definitely need to do whatever are the relevant to the configuration where the TR is created. For example, this is just a check program, so no worries. But let's say for example, let me talk about define ledger for CO version. This is the configuration activity. When you save, it will generate a TR. So these activities which are generating the TRs, they need to be done in development, right? You are not going to directly do this in production. These activities which are going to be generating the TRs, almost all the activities which are available in the delta configuration folder, they need to be performed in development, they need to be tested in quality, and finally they need to be moved into the production. So once you, as I told you, once your technical consultant is performing the installation on production system, you don't need to do this all activities again in production. You just need to transport the TRs that are already created. And once the transports are available, then you can proceed in the production system with data migration and activities after migration. This you cannot transport. This is something you need to do directly in your production system. Clear on this, Arijit?
Yes. So this folder will it have all the required customizing that is necessary for S4, or there are other things as well? I mean, you're talking about something to be done manually. So can you give an
This
example
is,
of what?
yeah, this is only the delta configuration. So for example, if I want to configure the general ledger, this configuration is not sufficient. Okay, for general ledger, there are a lot of other configurations that we were doing in ECC also. So you need to do that configuration in ECC plus this configuration. So this is just the delta configuration. You got the point now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is whatever you are getting in cockpit. This is just the delta configuration. This is not the complete configuration. For complete configuration, you are already doing the configuration in ECC. Same notes will be applicable.
Gaurav, for credit management, we can directly do it under FSCM, right? Whatever settings we are doing in SDAR area, we can directly do it under FSCM. And we can use the migration method, or also we can do manual configuration FSCM. Both are available, or only we need to use migration tool?
See, when migration tool is available, I don't see any reason why will you do it manually, because there are chances of errors, right?
Okay. Okay.
If the cockpit is available, which will automatically go and check what configuration is available, and it will one-to-one map with the new configuration, there is no
Yeah.
point in doing all these activities manually, because you don't know which of the tables are going to be copied when you run the program, because you might be aware of 3 configurations, but internally there may be 5, 6 configurations that needs to be performed. So it is always better to use the cockpit.
And in case customer wanted to have some changes, after migration, we can go change the config, is it?
Yes. So once the standard configuration is copied, if you want some changes, that you can directly do in the system. Again, you need to start from development then. You will be running.
Once we migrate, we get a transport, and on top of it, we do some config, manual config,
Another
like
transport.
changing here and there. There'll be another transport. When we go to production, transport both the transports, then it'll be there. We don't need to do
Exactly.
it again. Okay.
Exactly. So I'll give you a simple example from credit management point of view. So currently in ECC, you configured the automatic credit check, which is providing you the warning message as of today. Now, your customer is asking, okay, when I'm going to SAP S4HANA, I want to convert it into the error. So there are 2 options. Either you do this configuration in ECC itself before you install, so that whenever the system will be migrated, it will automatically include the error. Other option is you continue with the normal migration where it will come as a warning, and then on top of that you create another TR which is making it as an error. So both the things are possible.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so once you complete the Delta configuration from this particular cockpit, so as I told you, from logistics point of view, most important we are material ledger and credit management. Other things, as I told you, like output determination, I don't think many of the changes that you need to do manually. Output determination is definitely one of the change that you need to do. So that thing you will be following the common path, that is cross components, or maybe you can directly go to transaction OPD to perform the output determination configurations. Once the Delta configuration is completed, which means now new configuration is in place. So from, again, let me give you the example. Material ledger was not active earlier. Now it is already active. FSCM credit management was not active earlier. Now it is also active. So now I'll proceed to master data, right? I want to convert my master data. So for example, credit management master data,
Gaurav?
which is available in FD32 till now. Yeah.
Yeah, can you click on that node where your preparations and migration of customizing?
No, I'm in the data migration now.
No, one above.
Yes. Okay, you want me to go here?
Yeah. And the
Okay.
first one, that clock, which is execution button, check customizing settings prior to migration. This is done once all the below config is done, right? Either
No,
customizing
no, no.
migration.
No. As I told you, this is a proper sequence. This is checking your ECC customizing, whether is there anything wrong which will stop you further.
Oh, okay. Then it is similar to maintenance planner and a custom code analyzer.
Pre-check report. Yes. See, pre-check reports checks from the technical point of view. This is actually going to check from the functional point of view, whether there is any body
Okay.
which is stopping or any particular program which is stopping you to go ahead. That is the thing it will tell you.
So basically, it is the same program running behind. Only thing is the maintenance planner and custom code, the tool will be done during the preparation phase. Here it is during the, prior to data migration.
Delta configuration, yes, prior to Delta configuration.
Okay. Okay.
Gaurav?
Yes, Arvind?
Yeah. In material ledger, we talked about OMX1 and CPM start. So I guess during this, when we execute this data migration, the same customizing is being done. So do we have to do it manually, or we run this cockpit and do this?
Sorry, which configurations you said?
Yeah, for material ledger, we did OMX1 and CPM start, right? For
Yeah, that will not be required. So that is required only when you are doing the new implementation. Okay.
Okay.
In case of system conversion, when you run this cockpit, both these activities will automatically get performed in the background.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, just to answer Arijit's question, I think you asked it earlier. I hope you already got this answer. So this is a very simple question. After SAP S4HANA upgrade, can we view PO or PR created in ECC before data migration? Definitely yes. That is the transaction, right? So PO, PR, sales order, invoice, whatever we are available in ECC, you can directly see in SAP S4HANA system also. But before that, before you go on to see this, it is recommended to continue these activities, complete these activities, and then only go and perform some new transactions. Okay, although you can see the old transactions available in the SAP S4HANA system, but before you go and see these transactions, it is recommended to complete this activity, which will save your time. Okay, now coming to data migration. So as I told you, when you talk about data migration, this is something like till now, my credit master data of the customer was available in transaction FD32. Now this data needs to be migrated to UKM_BP. One example. From FI point of view, my data was available in BSEG, BKPF till now. That needs to be migrated into AC.A table, which is a new table. Again, from inventory management point of view, my data which was available in MSEG, MKPF, I also need the copy of data available in MATDOC because that is my main table. Another example, material ledger was not active, data was available in old inventory valuation tables. That needs to be migrated into material ledger. All this type of data migrations within the system, right? It is not from other system. Within the system, from one set of tables to another set of tables will be done during the data migration. Okay, so this is meant for that purpose. Data migration will be performed for different kind of activities. For general ledger, for house bank, for credit management, we'll see one by one. Before that, there is one documentation again called as partitioning of universal journal entry line item table. This is not relevant to logistics at all. Just to give you one additional information, I think this is again something which we discussed earlier, but let me tell you one thing. From day one, we are saying SAP S4HANA is in-memory computing. SAP HANA is in-memory computing. Why it is in-memory computing? Because it is storing the data directly in RAM. It has a capability of storing the data in RAM. But how much data? This is a big question, right? If I'm using SAP from last 20 years, does it make sense that all this 20 years of data is available in RAM? Definitely not, right? Why should I keep the data, 20 years of data in RAM, which is very costly memory, rather than storing that data which is not required for my normal day-to-day business? Why don't I keep that data out of the system? Like normally you do archiving, right? Now in SAP S4HANA, there is a separate alternative to archiving. There is something called as data aging. Archiving is still available. I'm not saying that is not available, but there is something addition to that is data aging. What is data aging? Data aging means moving the data from moving the data from RAM to hard disk. So within SAP HANA, again you can have two different storage devices. You can have RAM and hard disk both. So although the most important data that you need on your day-to-day reporting, you will keep it on memory, RAM. While the other data that you don't need, let's say the data which is more than 2 years old, you keep it on the hard disk, right? Which will save your RAM cost. That is called as data aging. So this is the same, why I'm giving you this example. AC doc A, it is going to be a big table. in SAP S4HANA. Accounting data table. There will be many records available in AC.A because it is fetching the information from all different subcomponents of financials, FI, CO, asset accounting, everything. So if I have 10 years of data in AC.A, does it make sense to store all that data in RAM? What I can do is I can do the partitioning. Partitioning means keep only 2 years of data in RAM, remaining data in hard disk. Again, you need to involve your technical consultant into that to create that partitions and all, but that is something which is possible, and SAP recommends that don't keep all your data in RAM, create the partitions so that your important data that you need on day-to-day basis for reporting will be available in RAM, while the other information can be stored in the hard disk. Okay, so that is something is called as partitioning of universal journal entry line item table. This is universal journal entry line item table is nothing but AC.A. Now coming to one of the questions that Vijay asked, and I told you will get the answer going forward. You said the tables which are going to be converted into CDS views, when exactly that is going to happen? When are the tables going to be deleted and they are going to be converted into CDS views? This is a point where it will be done. Regenerate CDS views and field mapping. When you execute this program, whatever table level changes or whatever views needs to be created, that will be done at this particular stage. Okay, so this program needs to be executed irrespective from logistics, from finance. This has to be follow a particular sequence. Okay, so when you run this program, it will create the CDS views. You can do this multiple times because even if you already executed this program, you can do this because it is not doing anything. It is just creating the CDS views. Okay, but normally it has to be done only once, and that too following a particular sequence. All these things, analyze transactional data, documentation of data migration, start and data migration, migrate general ledger allocation, house bank, these are all relevant to the financial data migration. Okay, migration of data from the old financial tables to AC.A, from BSEG, BKPF to AC.A, from controlling tables to AC.A, from asset accounting tables to AC.A, and finally the general allocations, general ledger allocations, which is related to the allocations of period end, and house bank data from ECC to SAP S4HANA. This is all related to accounting, and you cannot perform the migration of credit management before you complete all these activities. Okay, so once you are done with all these activities, then only you can come to credit management. Now, before I go to this credit management, let me tell you one thing. Analyze transactional data. Again, as I told you, reconciliation. Why you perform the reconciliation of financial data? Just to make sure that you don't send the garbage data. Otherwise, it will not allow. So this program, analyze transactional data, is going to perform another check here, whether all my financial data is reconciled or not. If it is not reconciled, here itself it will stop and your migration will be completely stopped. That is the reason preparation phase has to be given a good importance. It should not happen, okay, let's install and we'll see what is happening afterwards. If you install, then it is very difficult to come back. So it is always better to perform all these checks in the preparation phase. Make sure that everything is done before you go further into the installation and the subsequent phases. Okay, so let me talk about credit management migration. Now let me ask you the question, what do you want to migrate from credit management? And anybody can answer this. What do you want to migrate to credit management? What kind of data?
Master data, like what are the customer credit limits already used?
So you answer 2 points. Yes, yes. The configuration is already done. Configuration is already done in the Delta configuration. Yes, Vijay, you want to add something?
Yeah, I have a different question on archiving. Is it a right time or should I hold till the end of the class?
No, you go ahead. No problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, we talked about archiving because S4HANA is an in-memory computing kind of a application. do we need to do mandatory archiving like once in a year or 2 years or 3 years, something like that? Because in my experience, last 10 years, none of my clients are using archiving. The reason, any analytical reports, they migrate the data to BW server and they run the reporting, analytical reporting on BW, but nobody cares about archiving. And that's the, I mean, when we are working on 3.0 and 4.0, 4.6, I saw archiving methodology, archiving strategies and all that, but nowadays, nobody is using archiving methods. Is it mandatory for S4HANA to do archiving once in 2-3 years or something like that?
No. See, archiving was never mandatory. Why we do archiving? Just to make sure that our processes, our system works faster. Okay, so for example, it is quite obvious, even if you have a mobile device, if you store more and more data on your mobile device, it will become slow, right? That is the reason what
That's
we
right.
do normally is we remove the unwanted data from our device so that the system performs faster. Same case
Exactly.
applies here also. Same case applies here also.
Yeah, but S4HANA is in-memory computing, right? Because of which it is required that archiving is mandatory or no such thing.
No. It is not mandatory, but obviously if you keep more and more data on RAM, it will again become slow. So sometimes
Okay.
at some stage you need to take a decision. Yes, we need to migrate the data from RAM to hard disk, or maybe you need to consider the option of archiving also.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so I think, sorry, who answered the question? Can you just come back? What kind of data we need to migrate from credit management?
Yeah, existing
Yeah.
credit already consumed for a customer. Or something.
Yes, so Pradeep, you answered 2 points. There are two kind of data you said. One is you said master data, which means what is the credit limit available for, sorry, what is the credit limit provided to the customer, not available. What is the credit limit available provided to the customer via transaction FD32? Not only credit limit, what is the risk class, what is the risk category, what are the different, whatever inputs you provided in transaction FD32, which is a credit master data of the customer. And second answer you gave is how much credit limit is already used, right? These are the two important things. One is what master data, sorry, the master data which is available in FD32, and second is out of that limit how much is already consumed. There is another kind of master data which is credit decisions, which means how many orders are in block stage, credit block stage. These are the three kind of data that you need to transfer. Master data, the exposure means how much limit is already used, and third is credit decisions, which means how many orders are credit blocked. So all these three things should be migrated into from your normal SDR credit management to FSCM credit management. So if I open this credit management migration tool, it is three kind of data. Migrate credit management master data. Below every migration cockpit, there is a display. This is just to see what is the status. So when you execute this in the background, you can go here and find what is going on in the background, whether it is completed or not, is it giving the error, warning or what. So all that things you can go into the display. So migrate credit management master data, migrate credit management exposure, which means how much limit is already used, and initialize the document credit decisions, which means how many orders are credit blocked. Okay, so you'll be performing these activities one by one. If you go for migrate master data, it will migrate all your settings, like the data which is available in FD32 will be moved to UKM_BP. Okay, whatever, if I just use the example, yeah, the risk categories, risk class, yeah, here. What will be migrated? The credit limits, customer credit group, credit representative group. If you entered text fields, risk categories, all are things which are mentioned in the FD32 screen are migrated to UKM_BP screen. Okay, so this is the first kind of migration, which is moving the master data. Second is, as I told you, credit management exposure, which means how much credit is already utilized by a particular customer. And finally, how many orders, sales orders are credit blocked. Okay, so these are the three things that you will be using. These are the three cockpits that we will use for migrating the existing credit data, master as well as transaction. Finally, there is a last program called as reconcile documented credit decisions, just to make sure that everything has been properly migrated or not. Question?
So more or less this migration is done by functional guys.
Yes, as I told you, because
Okay.
it is coming under the migration to SAP S4HANA finance.
Yeah.
Normally, even if a finance consultant is doing completely fine, or maybe if you as a SD consultant want to enter here, that is also fine, but you need to wait till the time he has not completed all these activities. That is the reason there is a dependency. And normally that is a main reason why we recommend that it should be performed complete configuration, or sorry, complete cockpit should be executed by a single person. At least the single person should be responsible for completing these activities. Okay, obviously if you are getting stuck somewhere, you can involve someone who is expert in that. For example, if a FI consultant is not much aware of the credit management, and let's say he's getting some error, then definitely he can involve the SD guy, but he should take the responsibility to run the complete cockpit because it has a dependency on all other objects. Okay, let's say if something goes wrong, for example, out of 100 customers, 98 customers were migrated properly in UKM_BP with all the relevant details, and 2 customers were resulted in some of the error. A very simple error. Let's say, for example, the risk class itself was not available. Okay, the risk category was available in ECC, but that particular risk class was not available in SAP S4. So that you will get an error that please maintain this and then try again. So once you maintain that in the configuration, definitely you need to go into the configuration, create a risk category, and now if you want to perform this master data execution again, do you need to go back to this transaction where it is not asking for a particular customer? If I execute this, this will be executed for all the customers. Out of 100 customers, 98 are already migrated. So why should I use this cockpit again? So for that, SAP has provided one of the program in the activities after migration. As I told you, activities after migration are used if something you need to perform manually on top of whatever you used in the cockpit. So for manual activities for credit management, there is one program called as complete credit management migration for unmigrated customers. So here you can specify a particular customer or a credit account that I want to do this activity only for this particular customer. Normally, this is not required if you are maintaining the configuration properly. You will not need to run this manual activity. It will be automatically taken care in the standard program. But if that is required, you can run this program and you can specify what you want to do. Whether you want to complete the master data migration or you want to complete the credit exposure migration. Payment behavior is not relevant to the normal SDR credit management functionality, and these three, as we discussed: master data, credit exposure, and the releasing part, like if there are some orders who are blocked for release. Okay, so this program you can use as a part of post-migration activity. If you see the post-migration phase, activities after migration, again, most of the activities are finance from the finance point of view. Okay, you don't need to understand all this, but one thing again which I wanted to tell you is this: transfer application indexes. Simple example. I think this is something which we have not discussed because in logistics there are not much of tables which are completely deleted. I'll give you one example. Are you aware of table BSIK, BSID? I think you must be, because this is nothing but the tables which are coming in background when you run this FBL 5N report or FBL 1N report. Alright? The open items tables for customers and vendors. Now, these tables, BSIK and BSID, are not available anymore in SAP S4HANA. They are converted as CDS views. Okay, so what happens during the installation phase? When you install, Before deleting these tables, what happens is backup tables are created. With name, table name, let's say for example BSIK underscore BCK. These tables are created. Second step is data is copied from BSIK, which is main table, to BSIK underscore backup. Okay, so data is copied from BSIK to BSIK underscore BCK. Third step is BSIK is removed as a table. Okay, and fourth thing is CDS view is created with name BSIK. So what is happening is before you delete this table, SAP creates the backup of these tables. Why? Because if something goes wrong during the conversion, you at least have the backup tables. Okay, so what is happening? Let's say in BSIK, I was holding 10 GB of data. Very simple example, 10 GB is too short. Let's take 1000 GB of data. In BSIK, I was holding 1000 GB of data. Now, even if BSIK is deleted, it is available as a CDS view, BSIK is not holding anything, but still this backup table still exists. It generates, it is having the same data which was available till now. So is there any point in keeping this table? Normally what should happen, as soon as the migration is completed, we should remove these tables also. So if you want, you can ask your technical consultants to remove this table, but SAP suggests to keep this table for some time. But where to keep? In RAM? Definitely not, right? We don't want to keep these tables in RAM, otherwise unnecessarily my system will become slow. So these backup tables should be moved to, the data aging should be performed for these backup tables, and they should be moved from RAM to hard disk. And that is exactly what is happening here. This transfer application indexes will move all the backup tables from RAM to hard disk. Okay, if you just read this activity, what it is saying is, in this customizing activity, you can transfer application indexes. Indexes means index tables. BSIK, BSAK, these are all index tables, to the database cold area. Cold area is hard disk. Hot area is RAM. In order to reduce the main memory consumption, okay, so you use data aging. That means business function data aging is active in your system. So if you want to use data aging, this is a business function relevant to it. Okay, so this is again another important activity which needs to be done from finance point of view. Okay, clear on this cockpit now? Any question?
So Gaurav, during the installation itself, BSIK data will be converted to backup table, and
Yes.
and after installation, the data will be there in the backup table in the RAM, but we need to move it to cold area, is it?
Yes, you're right. So see, what is happening is, for example, I have 1000 GB of data in BSIK. Now BSIK is my main table. Normally I store it in RAM, right? So whenever the backup will be created, by default this will be also available in RAM. Okay, so if 1000 GB is getting consumed from RAM, it is definitely going to make my processes slower. That is the reason, instead of keeping them in RAM, this activity, this program will move them from RAM to hard disk. That is a cold area. Hot area is RAM and cold area is hard disk.
Okay.
Gaurav, why are
Yes, Pradeep?
we treating the credit management migration separately? Because like all the CDS view table migration, why credit management data is not taken care of? When it comes to credit
No.
management, why are we specifically mentioning transaction codes instead of tables?
Yes. There is a reason, Pradeep. CDS views are only available in case of the functionality where the table is deleted and it has been converted as a view. But when we are talking from the credit management point of view, credit management is not only replacement of tables, it is a replacement of a complete component. We were using the old component earlier, SDAR credit management. Now we are using the new component called as FSCM credit management. So FSCM credit management doesn't have views, they have the tables which are different than the older component. That is the reason we are doing that activity. If it is only
Okay.
view, it will be taken automatically.
Okay.
Okay, any questions on this conversion cockpit? So this is how the conversion process will look like. You do the preparation activities in ECC, then you install, then you perform the Delta configuration, you perform the data migration using the cockpit, and finally, very small number of activities you perform as the activities after migration.
So Gaurav, this preparation stage also takes care of the hardware upgrade. Like and you need to have a lot of RAM in order to S4HANA to work on in-memory computing. You need to have a lot of RAM. That upgrade will be done during the preparation stage prior to installation, or when will they do hardware sizing?
It depends, like you can do that in the preparation also, or you can do during the installation also. It is recommended if you use this preparation, that will be great, right? Because unnecessarily you will not waste time during this installation phase. You can do it here itself in the preparation, because that is something which can go in parallel.
Okay. So in a project, suppose I am running on ECC and I want to convert to S4HANA 1610, and I'll take I have an environment with the development, quality, and production, and I need to have another setup with the same production copy to another set of development and quality, and I do all these activities in my new development and test it in quality. Then finally, when it comes to production, we do all these steps, right?
Yes. So configurations, Delta configurations, you will be doing in development, you will be testing in quality, and finally you will be moving to the production. While the data migration and activities after migration, that you are directly doing in the production. Actually, in each environment, you need to do in the development also, but not
Yeah.
via TRs. It will be done separately in each environment.
Oh, some of them are like a validation points on the ING, on the migration cockpit. Some of them are validations. So those validations need to be done all three environments, is it?
Yes, yes, all the three environments separately without TRs, because they are not going to create the TRs. They are just telling you whether the validation is successful or not.
Okay. While they do some S4HANA related Delta configs and all that, they could do some ECC enhancement as well as required by business. Will they conflict when we transport both the environments, like development ECC, development quality, one transport comes to production, and there will be S4HANA development, S4HANA quality, there is another transport coming from this side. If they both land into the same production environment, will there be any conflicts or any resolutions for those such conflicts?
No. I'm not getting you. Why will you run two parallel systems, ECC development and ECC S4?
Suppose I have a ECC and I started with S4HANA implementation. It may take 6 months, right? During the 6 months, and when I'm doing a Delta config in S4HANA quality and development, I may need business critical configuration needs in this month itself. I do that development in ECC development box and test it in quality, move it to production, right?
Okay, yeah, got it. Yeah, so in that case, normally you will be having the freeze period. This is what we follow. So freeze
Okay.
period means none of the transports will move from development to quality to production, okay, till the time SAP S4HANA is not implemented. So in that freeze period, again, there are options. You can, what we propose is, if there is any mandatory configuration that needs to be transported now itself, directly go in the production and do that. Okay, because you are working in a critical project, so this kind of things can be as a workaround. But normally it should be always freeze period. You should not be doing anything in parallel. It should be all either ECC or SAP S4.
Okay.
Gaurav?
Yes, Arijit.
Yeah, can you explain the activities after migration once again, just summary?
Sorry, Arijit.
Uh, the activities after migration, can you explain that again? Activities after migration?
Yes, let me show you. So in the migration to SAP S4HANA, there are three phases: data configuration, data migration, and activities after migration. Now in activities after migration, this one I explained you, transfer application indexes, which means the backup tables that were created during the conversion of tables into views, they will be migrated into cold area, that is hard disk. Apart from this, whatever you can see here, this is a display. So once you execute this, you can go here and display what is the status. Other things like fill due dates in FI document. This is relevant to FI. Fill the offsetting account in FI. Again, this is related to the offsetting account which comes in the general ledger. Enrichment of balance carry forward, again something relevant to FI. So I only told you this one, manual activities for credit management. So in the manual activity, if due to some reason a particular master data of credit customer was not migrated, so you are not going to perform the complete cockpit again. You can come onto the screen and you can specify for which customer you want to perform this migration. Okay, so this is the purpose of the activities after migration, which are normally, if you go with 1511, even this program was not available, post processing of credit management, because there is no need actually, right? You can directly go to a BP and you can do these changes. But this is in addition, which SAP has provided, that if you want to migrate, let's say, the credit exposure data or credit document credit decisions, then this can be used. If you see in 1511, this program is not available. So post migration activities are normally related to only finance. Okay, Arijit?
Yes, Gaurav. And one more thing, I mean, these all these customizing, it will generate a TR, or these are QR programs as well. I mean these activities, uh, they will generate a
See,
TR, or these
yeah, whatever programs are available in the Delta configuration, only they will generate the TRs. Okay, that too only configurations, not the validations. Okay, but in case of data migration and post migration, these are the transactional activities, right? They are performing the transactions, so there will not be any TR for this. TRs will be created only for Delta configuration, nothing else.
and the all the three activities that like data migration and preparation, preparation, data migration, and activities after migration. All these three nodes will be handled by the FI consultant, or the what the scope of MM? As far as these three are concerned.
Now see, as I told you, if you see SAP has provided a cockpit, you are not doing anything manually. Okay, you just need to execute a program and wait till the time it gets executed. But since most of the activities in this cockpit are belonging to finance, it is recommended that one person should take a responsibility to complete everything. It is not compulsory. You can, in your project, you may say, okay, FI consultant, let's do this 1, 2, 3 activities. SD consultant will go for credit management and MM consultant will go for material ledger. That is also perfectly fine. It all depends, it all based on the project to project. But normally, in order to avoid the confusion, because there is a particular sequence that you need to follow, so you should allow one person to complete the entire sequence rather than having different consultants.
Gaurav, this migration, there is no involvement of ABAPA, right? Technical consultants, because it's all like a cockpit kind of a migrations. Only functional guy, mainly the finance guy will do it.
See, if you are talking from the cockpit point of view, yes. But as I told you, if in the custom code analyzer you found lot of issues in the migration, the adjustments,
Right.
that needs to be done by the ABAP.
Yeah. But I'm seeing comparing to the conventional projects, there will be a lot of above requirement building LSMWs or BDCs or something like that. And because of the cockpit availability of data migration, even for functional like SD, MM consultants, the configuration is moved through using the cockpit. I don't think much of a work for these guys like a technical and functional, other than finance.
No, no, no,
Compared to
Vijay,
conventional.
you are comparing the new implementation, right? When you go for
Yes.
new implementation, you need the ABAPer. So here also, if you are going for SAP S4HANA new implementation, you definitely need ABAPer because there will be a lot of Z requirements, right? But
Yeah.
instead of comparing with the new implementation, you compare the project. Let's say you are moving from ECC EHP 6 to EHP 7, for example, or maybe ECC EHP 0 to EHP 7. In that case, again, the requirement of ABAPer will be minimized, right? Because you are performing the upgradation in the same system. This is similar to that. Although the changes are a lot, when you compare EHP 0 to EHP 7, there are minimum changes. Here the changes are a lot, but again, it is in the same system.
Okay, I'm thinking from the project management perspective. I may have 3 consultants for data conversion. ABAP consultants, but now I may manage with one ABAP consultant instead of 3. That's what I was talking about.
No, it actually depends upon. Yeah, it actually depends upon how many custom objects needs to be adjusted. Okay, so when you are in the ECC, when you are using the custom code analyzer, that will give you the clear idea like how much ABAP work is involved.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so maybe we can close today, and Vijay and Manish, sorry, are you free for rebate processing? We can work together now.
Yes, I tried to run the same settlement. I mean, it says the condition contract is not existing. It's not even identifying the condition contract.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the final settlement date was yesterday. I tried to change the settlement date to 28th. It's not letting me change it.
Okay, no, settlement date must be yesterday's date because, okay, let's try. I also not tried today. I was also busy with something else. So let's see. Settlement management. Okay, before we talk about this, the message to all. So we have almost completed the conversion project also. So we are just left with small topics. The leftover topics I'll just check in the course content. What are the things which are left? I don't think there are more than 1 or 2 sessions left for this course. But apart from that, once I complete this course, I will give you 15 days of time so that you can practice on the system. You can come up with your own scenarios, and whatever questions and answers you will be getting, you will be, whenever you are practicing, if you are getting any kind of errors or something, you have my email ID, you can send the mails. After 15 days, we'll be having 1 or 2 sessions based on how many mails I'm getting to answer your questions. Okay, so I think next Saturday, maybe that will be the last session, which will be required from the completing the course content point of view. But after that, 1 or 2 sessions may be required for questions and answers.
Will there be any simplification on the PP side? We talked about MM and SD.
We talked about MRP Live. MRP Live is something which is from the PP point of view itself.
Oh, okay. Other than that, there are no other changes on PP side, right?
No. Whatever changes are there in PP, they are mainly from MRP point of view. So we discussed about there is no storage location MRP, MRP Live, all these things.
Yeah.
So that is something which is from the PP point of view.
Sure.
Gaurav, see, we are talking about credit management and FSCM, but when it comes to foreign trade, so they have to start it from the scratch like GTS because it's completely outside of the core system. Or do we have any data mapping available provided by SAP, or do we have any?
No, Pradeep, let me answer this. See, GTS is not a new thing. You must be knowing that GTS is being used from years, and there are a lot of customers who are already on GTS. So what will happen is, if you want to move from foreign trade to GTS, there is already the path available. SAP S4HANA doesn't need to provide you any path for that, because GTS is an external service.
Okay.
Okay,
But
so whatever
integration
you are
of
following,
HANA to GTS,
similar, there is no change at all because GTS is a separate component. You can integrate in the same way as you were integrating in ECC.
yeah. So it's completely like a new implementation if we
GTS will be
GTS.
completely new implementation. Yes, if
Yeah.
you are not using GTS, GTS will be treated as a completely new
Hmm.
implementation.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes, Arijit.
Yeah, actually, in the master data, material master data, the MRP views, did we discuss the view, the changes in the view? I mean, I guess I was not there.
Sorry, Arijit, not clear. In the MRP view, you are saying something?
Yeah, I mean, the material master, there were some changes in the MRP 1, 2, 3, 4. So that changes, have we discussed it before?
Yes, yesterday we talked about some of the fields like storage location
Okay.
related fields, the
Only those are the
production
changes. I
version
mean,
related.
okay, so
Sorry.
some fields are not there. That is the change, right? I mean, there in the views.
Yes.
There are few,
There are no new fields. Some of the fields which were related to the obsolete functionalities are removed completely.
okay, so these are the changes in master data as far as MRP is concerned, right?
Yes. Only one thing I need to check. I think again I forgot today also the uh, M0 and all that MRP types are not available in 1610. So I'll just confirm that. That is only one thing which is pending, which I need to answer. Apart from that, I think from MRP view point of view, we already discussed all the points. Okay, so now we are going to focus on settlement management. So if somebody is interested, you can be here if you have time. Otherwise, you can close out for today and we'll meet next week with whatever we'll try to solve this settlement management. I'll explain you how we solved this error.
Hi, Gaurav, quick question.
Yes?
When is
Yes.
the certification going to be available for this?
This is actually the question which is like, it was supposed to come in September 2016, but it has
Yeah,
still not arrived. So we are also not sure when exactly it is going to come.
I thought in recent SAP that they would have announced something.
Is it like, do you have any idea what they announced?
No, I have no idea. Only they accept about the new version, 1710 or something. I have no idea whether they have announced or not.
Okay, let me check. If I can answer this in the next session, I'll just try if they announce something about the certification.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Gaurav.
Okay.
Gaurav, I heard on something on HANA 2.0. So what's the difference between HANA and HANA 2.0? It's a new version that is come up on here?
Arijit, again, your answer is not clear.
Yeah.
Sorry, your question is.
Yeah, I was reading about HANA 2.0. So is that a new version of HANA database or what is that?
HANA version. HANA
Yeah.
version you can see here.
The HANA 2.0. I mean,
Maybe it may come because this is 1.0, I think. So HANA, if it is, but that is not going to make any difference from functional point of view. See, what we are bothered about is this version, 1610. Okay, what we are, from the functional point of view, we are bothered about what version of SAP S4HANA we are using. SAP HANA, it is a technical thing. So even if 2.0 is coming, definitely it will be better than 1.0, but it will not make any changes from the functional point of view.
okay. I was, I was searching on the net. I was finding out HANA 2.0 training is happening. So I thought it's a new database developed or what? I couldn't understand.
No, not new database. It is a new version of HANA database. That's it. Vijay, I am getting the same thing that we were getting yesterday. I'm trying this on 27th of May. That is yesterday's date.
Yeah, can you open that message, long text, do you see?
It is not giving much of the information. It
No
is just, Yeah.
Customizing. I think there is a pricing schema available at the settlement. Can you go into MG?
Okay.
Logistics settlement.
Logistics execution or general?
General. And there is a settlement.
Yeah, after global trade there is settlement, yes.
Yeah. And here there is a pricing.
Yeah, probably basic settings.
Yeah, the
Yeah, yeah,
pricing.
pricing.
Yeah, can you open that note? Yeah, do you see
Yeah,
anything missing? I
I tried this.
tried.
So
You tried that? Yeah, this OS is for the schema group is OS for settlement, customer settlements. But I don't see OS anywhere in our contract.
exactly. So that is something which I was also trying to find, because wherever even I tried control F and calculation schema, so it was giving me 2-3 options, but I checked all of them are in place. This error is actually misguiding, and the problem is no documentation is available on this error. Last time
Yeah.
when I tried on 1511, I was not getting this error. I don't know why 1610 is throwing this error. 1511 I tried in the last server, not the server that I have as of now. But last time when
Okay.
I run the scenario, it was completely fine. Like whatever we are getting in that volume, that was getting settled on that particular date, and the accounting document was also getting created based on the account determination. So I don't
Okay.
know what
Yeah, I'm
is.
curious. What is the settlement process earlier is only when the cost settlement happens during the month-end KO88. It's called settlement, meaning cost is moved from one cost bucket to another cost bucket, right? And for air
That is
postings, it's
different.
called. Yeah,
That
that's
is different.
different, but that's
Yes.
different. But even when we issue a invoice or a credit memo, debit memo, is all called billing. But what is this settlement? Colloquial, I mean, as a layman terminology, what is this settlement
Okay,
for?
okay, I got your point. I'll tell you what exactly we are doing.
Yeah, I'm trying to
See,
understand, like a layman, what is a settlement? So,
okay, okay. No, don't go with the name settlement. I'll tell you, it is a very basic thing like rebate processing. So see what we normally do. I think yesterday's example. So we create a rebate agreement. Okay, so instead of, see, I will just do one thing. I will write what was happening in ECC, and
yeah,
down I will, okay, maybe I'll open Excel to explain this better.
yeah,
Okay, so I'll write here ECC, what was happening, and here I will write what is happening in SAP S4HANA.
yeah.
Okay, so in ECC, we were first of all creating the rebate agreement.
Yes.
What we were writing in this rebate agreement, like how much quantity, for example, okay, how
Material,
much percent, yeah, material, customer,
time period.
time period, yes, and the percentage that we were giving. Apart from the other fields, there were a lot of other fields also,
Yep, yeah,
but I'm
yep.
just trying to correlate with this. In SAP S4HANA, we are doing the same thing, but not via rebate agreement. It is called as condition contract.
Yeah,
Okay, which we are using transaction VCOCO.
yeah.
Same thing, we are entering same thing, which quantity, how much quantity, which material, which customer, what time period, what percentage, everything we are entering in this condition contract. Now, the table was
So,
VBox.
so rebate agreement is created using a VA41, right? Any contract and sales side, it is used VA41, but here it is
No,
WS.
I think it was VB01. Am I right?
Yeah, VBO.
Yeah,
VB01.
VBO1, yeah.
Yes. So VB01 was used to create a rebate agreement. Now it has been replaced with VCOCO, which is a condition contract. But whatever information you enter, it is same information, only the form is different.
Okay.
Okay, so all the data was getting stored in table VBox. Okay,
Okay.
now this was creating the problem, due to which they came up with the new technique called as condition contract. in which this data now at the time of settlement. So what was happening? Settlement means what? Creating the credit invoice during the month end or at the end of the contract period. So once you complete the contract, what you do, you create a credit invoice. So if the customer has purchased this much material, 5% discount. So let's say this 100 USD will be credited to the customer, right? This is something which we were doing via the final credit invoice based on whatever sales was consumed. Here, the same thing is happening via this transaction called as settlement. So in settlement, it is not trying to settle the cost from one cost object to another. It is actually creating the credit invoice only, nothing else.
No, but in case of regular credit management, we create a credit memo request and then credit memo, right? So his settlement is directly a financial document gets created, is it?
Yes, yes, yes. This is directly the financial document based on whatever information is stored in this condition contract. So earlier the data was getting stored in VBox. Now that will not be required. The data will be picked automatically from the main tables using the power of HANA. That is the whole reason.
Oh, okay.
Two transaction codes are provided. One to create the new contracts, and second is to perform the settlement during at the end of the contract period. It can be at a particular month end, it can be at a particular date, or it can be at a particular year end. It depends upon the nature of contract.
Right.
Gaurav, I believe like we have a separate condition to store that rebate value, right? Whatever percentage or discount that we are giving for that particular billing document. Or so, do we still have that, or is
yes,
it? Yes, yes.
It is there. You maintain 5%.
Yeah,
Yes,
5%. But where are we seeing that in billing document? Because yesterday, that's the reason I asked you. Because I do not see any separate condition anywhere. So is it?
Yes. So see, yeah, Pradeep, even in ECC also, what was happening is if you are creating the billings before you create the condition contract or rebate agreement, in that case, you will not be able to find that condition in the billing document. Only when you create the new billing documents after the rebate agreement, that condition appears there. Okay, so maybe we can try creating one billing document, because whatever billing documents are available currently, they were all created before I created the condition contract. That is the reason I cannot see the condition in the billing document as of now. But if you try to create a billing document, definitely I think that condition will appear there. But the problem is, why I'm not trying that scenario is, in the volume it is already showing that much volume is already consumed. Okay, so which is giving you the correct picture. So even though if that condition is not appearing, but it is telling you that this much quantity is consumed. The problem is, at the time of settlement, this error is not related to condition. It is related to some of the pricing calculation.
Yeah, so when you say pricing calculation, it must be looking for some condition, right? Like how does the system determine what is the value that it should, settle or create a credit memo? That's what I am thinking, because when you say calculation schema, it's definitely, something related to pricing.
Okay, so do you want me to create a billing document? Okay, let me see if I have some sales orders which are not billed. Sold to party 8. I just created the sales order yesterday without billing. So let's take an example, this one, 70. Okay, if I want to convert this sales document into billing document, I'll go to first delivery, right? VL01N. Okay, and this is my, sorry, what was it? 77, right? SL01, I think. Sorry, it was 70 or what? 70, I think. A05. Yes, sorry. So I'll just write here 70 and let's proceed. No schedule lines due for delivery up to selected date. Okay, let me just enter this information first.
Or you can change the date on the VL01 and.
Sorry?
Or you can change the date on VL01N and it should be fine. Either way.
And so what date should I put here?
Put.
It depends.
Can you
that one we need to, yeah, that
can
one
you
we
run
need
on
to
the
schedule line, what date it is created.
Yeah, can you go to availability checking on that order? We will see what date it is available. And accordingly, we can put that date here.
PA02.
Yeah. And 70, select that line, go, there is a, yeah, select that line, there is availability checking button on tool on the above. Yeah. How about the next one? Schedule line, third one. Yeah.
So it's not confirmed, you cannot create a delivery.
Yeah, it's not confirmed. So you need to have some quantity. If you post MB1A, 1B or something, if you post some quantity, and it will take it today's date.
Or Gaurav, you can cancel the existing billing document and create a new one, I think, if it is only relevant at billing level.
Yeah, that will be also fine. So we have 05. Where is it? Enter. Or this the old orders or what? Oh, this is a problem. SL01 and 8. Let's take this. Fine.
Yeah.
What is this now? There are CDEC entries in CC. Is it created or not?
I think it's referring to condition contract CC.
Oh, yes.
Can you go to that invoice, previous invoice again, VF03, and you can see the document flow. You will see cancellation in case it is there.
Okay. No, it is not generated. Cancellation is not done.
Yep.
Is this because of the condition contract which already exists for this billing?
Right. I think you need to post some quantity and deliver the same order, 70.
Okay. What was the material number? Let me just check from here.
77, 1 all zeros.
77 is.
We want to change it to 561, right? The moment I.
Yes, I'll just change. What should I use here?
561.
561.
Yeah.
Okay, quantity, let's keep it as maximum, where we already maintain. location. So why it is going to plant? This is cell 01, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the
So cell 0 no, description.
yeah, description was wrong, yes. The storage location again is cell 01. This one. Okay, now quantity must be available.
Yeah, can you go to VS02 and do the confirmation? Schedule line, we will see, and then
70.
No, you have to redo the availability check. Otherwise it won't come.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
you
yes.
have to confirm.
No, it is not going. Go to
Something with
scheduling time.
the availability check.
Yeah,
The
it's
KP, the KP which is the availability check it is using probably something.
This one?
no
Same case.
confirmed quantity. You can give it here. Can you give today's date and confirmed quantity 10? You can add a second line with delivery date as today's date
Okay.
and confirmed quantity 10. I think it will take it that way. Confirmed quantity, yeah, 10, enter.
I believe the availability KP, right? That is the problem. The availability.
Oh, okay. On the material master, that needs to be changed.
Okay, let's go to MM02. It was 24.
Sales, sales general plan or sales.
Problem is somebody has changed the
Yeah,
ROH
No,
material
sales
type.
use, sales use also
you
is
itself.
gone.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I will go to configuration once again. Somebody has removed the sales
You itself.
views from the ROH material type, yes. What is the transaction code? OM?
Don't remember.
Okay, okay, no issues. So materials management, sorry, logistics general, material master, basic settings and material types. So in ROH, we need the sales one. Sales. Can we not change this directly in the sales order? The material
Yeah,
available,
we
right?
can, because schedule line is determined as CP. We need what availability checking is associated with CP.
Okay.
Yeah, it says no check.
This fine, individual requirement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I should go to order.
Yeah.
Will it automatically affect this order?
No.
Sure.
See, if backend rescheduling is there, then it will automatically allocate. Otherwise, we have to do it.
So where should I go? Scheduling lines.
Now you can run the. No, that we cannot change.
Yeah, now we can CV.
Run.
Can you put CV?
No,
Here?
that is consumption.
CV,
Right?
yeah.
I don't think it will allow.
Yeah, yeah. Can you try run the availability check again? Checking
Doing the
will.
same thing. Okay, let's create another order. Now I think it will take proper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A01. Okay, and distribution channel looks wrong. S1, S1. This was 8 and $27. It is compiling means it is going to that condition now, because earlier we already created some of the documents, so it should not go to compiling. No, it is not directly taking any condition. Normally it was taking REBT or REBA something, right? BCC?
Yeah, but don't we need to define it, you think, or will it come automatically?
It should come automatically, because in the configuration,
See, calculation schema, it's always related to conditions or condition records, something similar. So if we don't have that concept of separate condition and condition record, then
Okay.
can we see this pricing procedure in the analysis?
Yes.
So
RVA 001.
conditions here.
Yeah, it is RVA 001.
Can you go down? Yeah, rebate base is only there. There is no condition type.
Okay. I have removed, so now
You need to
probably
enter
can we can you run that settlement for just for this? Can we do that for the new
settlement
billing
only
document?
for this billing document. I don't think it is possible. Yeah, it is possible. Sorry. Let's try.
Yeah, the timeline on the contract is yesterday's date, 27th, not.
Yes. That is also the problem. So condition contract that we created, it was only valid for the documents which were created on yesterday's date. So this particular
Maybe you can
settlement,
create a new contract.
even if you create, it will behave same, because the billing document that we created was earlier to that. Okay, let's do one thing. I think instead of focusing here, let's try to do this independently. You also, if you get time, just take this particular scenario. I will also try from rebate processing, going through the basics of rebate processing and understanding the settlement management, and let's try to see if this is working fine. Otherwise, I'll just try to get that server where it was working fine, 1511, and we check together what was other thing, what was difference in that server compared to this.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So we can
Okay,
close
got it.
today, and yeah, we'll meet
Same
on
time,
next.
Saturday, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.